The whole world knows that you got a big grandbaby.
Let me start this out right. The mayor's got a new grandbaby. All 10 pounds, 3 ounces of her. And her mother was in labor for 28 hours, and they said, you can't have this baby.
You have a baby son?
Yeah, we're going to my son had one.
Oh, congratulations.
So, we're all excited after the teary eyes cleared up.
When did that happen?
This morning at 6:30.
Wow.
And the mayor got to stay in Deaconess Hospital for 28 hours. So, if I fall asleep, you'll know what's the problem. All right, Vice Mayor, just a quick heads up. Need you to run the meeting tonight. I want to go see my grandbaby.
Oh,
Before
absolutely.
we get through his workshop.
You bet.
So I appreciate that. my friend.
Absolutely.
You know, I'm calling this meeting to order, and this will be one of your nice special city council meeting workshops. And I'm going to turn it over to my city manager.
Wonderful. If y'all have your agendas in front of you, have those pulled up. If we want to open up questions and discussions regarding agenda items.
Yeah, I think that's pretty
Well,
self-explanatory.
happy Thanksgiving.
All right, I do have one question. On our executive session, were we just gonna do a review of things?
I'm just gonna review what is in litigation.
Since
and
it
take
would
over it.
it be advantageous, since not everybody's here, to delay it till the December meeting?
Well, it would, but I may be not at the December meeting, December 4th meeting.
Okay.
I mean, I don't have any problem doing that, and I hope I get here, but I've got 4 or 5 things on planning commission in Edmond that night. So
Well,
I've got 4
Mary
votes.
will be here
She will-
tonight.
She will be,
She's just-
the mayor won't be.
No.
So I just, is
It'd
maybe,
be
even
better
of course,
call.
if you're not here on the 4th, maybe you could just give us a,
It'd be better, I can just write in a letter, I can give you, but it'd be better if all 7 of you knew what was going on. And the city manager, I think I've told about everything, but.
okay. Is that okay? I mean, does anybody
It's fine
else
with me.
object to pulling it tonight?
I gotta go cook the turkey.
Okay.
You know, 1,500 homes burnt frying turkey.
Frying turkey.
And somebody went over the river and through the woods and ran through grandmother's garage.
We have reservations. You watch too much TV.
All right.
All right, is there something that you
I mean, I
would
don't
like
mind
to
requesting we
explain
have
to us
December
about
meeting,
some
here I am
of the?
pulling it.
Do you want me to talk about the bid of sale, the bid property?
Yeah, let's do that. And
Sure.
while we got the city attorney here to tell us how that went.
Sure. A little over a week ago, we had placed out a bid of for sale of excess property located along Lake Guthrie, along Lake Guthrie. It was in between 2 individual properties, 2 individual private property owners. We opened up that bid, and there were, with a reserve of $3,000. The reserve was not met. One individual that lives adjacent to that property placed a contingency bid for $1,000. It is my understanding that in the city's planning over the past so many years in the comp plan, it has been the desire of the city to decrease land ownership by the city. In an effort to do so, we bid that property. So tonight you'll see a $1,000 for that property. There was an individual that was concerned that came to us and is now not expressing concern anymore about leaving it as an open space that the city should own. And she has rescinded that. So I just want to be transparent with council. We did have concern, but she's called today and said she's not concerned anymore about the property.
We're suggesting we sell it for $1,000. It's really not a buildable lot. It's a third of an acre, and you couldn't build anything on it. It's just a maintenance headache for the city.
And we still feel that way, don't we, council? If we have property that we cannot, don't have an advantage on, that we can let somebody else own it?
Sure. From the city staff standpoint, it's just more property that we have to maintain and own, and if it can be better used by the private, we support it going to the private ownership.
Are we open or closed on Friday?
We are closed on Friday and also on Thursday.
Okay, well, I figured Thursday.
Just thought I'd throw it in there.
I'm a holiday genius. Got Thursday figured out.
we'd have a very tired staff on, and we'd be competing with
Tricky.
shopping.
And grumpy staff. Let us not forget that. You know how Wanda acts.
Indeed do I ever.
If that concludes agenda items for tonight, such a lengthy agenda, if we can, we'll move to number 2, request for future items of discussion.
Anyone?
What's going on with ODOT? Did we ever hear anything from them to set up a meeting to come talk to us?
Yes, that has been set up. Do you have a, I don't have
Yes,
a date
it will
on
be,
that.
it will be on December the 4th was the only day that he was available to come, and Paul Green will be here on December the 4th to address the council.
Thank you, ma'am.
You're very welcome.
Good job.
I just have one little thing I could bring up. I know the Mineral Wells dry bed basin. Is there, I mean, I know when Matt was here, we talked about at one point in time, if there was, and I know I'm springing this on you, but
Sure.
I know at one time we had talked about, is there a way we can dredge that thing out so it's only not 2 inches deep?
I will give you, if you would entertain, well, I can't really bring up new business at the moment. I can give you a little bit of background about that what people do call a lake, which I would also call it, in our terms, it's really a storm drain. It was not intended. It became a pond by receiving water from Cottonwood.
Right.
When we built the water plant there south of that property, is that really south? What we have a raw water line coming up through that. We do inject chlorine so that we have about a 15-minute contact time for that water, which it needs before it enters the plant. So if you picture with me, my beautiful diagram right here, you've got raw water line coming here, chlorinator injection here, and then it's gonna be still out raw water, but have contact time and hit the water plant. 2 ways you can do this. You then can't place that water into the pond, so because then we've got disinfectant and we'll have a fish kill. We'll
Well, I know one thing that
I
we
don't
had
think we.
not that there's fish,
Yeah.
but that we're not supposed to be filling a pond
with treated water.
with treated water. Okay, so point 2 then, let's take it from the original source right here. And to do that, you have to do law would require a valve, a backflow preventer. So you put in a backflow.
Large backflow.
And you're talking about 30,000 to even start the conversation for that. So I just want to kind of let you know that it's not as simple as it might seem to bring in raw water. But you could do that. You could put in your backflow preventer, and you do that. You could fill it. Now it kind of goes back to how often do we want to keep filling it. That would be part of it. If you want to keep it full, there's just a cost associated with.
Well, there's a
doing so.
well there.
Yeah.
There's a well there at the site, that's already got water that constantly just kind of bubbles up out of it.
It's an artesian.
I was
It's
there
an
too.
artesian
well,
well.
yeah.
And is there any reason that we can't put a pump and just pump water with a float on it just to keep it at a level
And
constant?
it would depend on how much water is in that artesian well.
Oh, yeah.
We don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah, well, I understand. I just, it's.
Or there's a third option of drilling a well, wait for surface water, wait for rain though, probably first, or drill the
Yeah.
well, put it in there. That's an
Yeah, and
option.
once it gets surface water in it, then we just have a constant, if we had some type of flow system that just kicked on when we needed it and it got to a certain level.
I think
It's just such an eyesore.
It really
we
is.
fully agree. We fully agree.
It's because we've never experienced, as long as I've lived here anyway, a drought of this magnitude.
Well, and it's awfully shallow. I mean, even
Even if you feel it.
even if you fill it, it's only up to your ankles kind of deep. I mean, on one side of it.
But
and then
that
the other
is-
side
That could cause a problem too, because many years ago, from the old water treatment plant, they put sludge in there. So you've got probably 4 to 6 feet of sludge. That's what is at the bottom of that thing. So I don't know what you would get into if you went into.
But to achieve what you're asking, how about this? We put on a council agenda, if it's the council's desire to hear what are the options. So we've kind of gone through, if you want us to come before you and say, for X amount of dollars.
Well,
we do
I think
this,
it's
or-
just a great opportunity when people come into town, and when we had the water fountain, we got lots of comments about how pretty it was, and now, it's just it's a situation where we have halfway
Pretty
done
fountain.
deal. Yeah, we got a great
It's not
fountain
doing anything.
that doesn't really do well with the grass.
The Parks Advisory Board also let me know this the other day, that it's a X amount of $1,000 fountain, and I did make it very clear, and I will tonight, I was not here when that happened, I just want to be very clear. That we would be happy to bring before council a cafeteria list of what are the options.
That's fine.
Sure.
I mean, if we're.
Well,
yeah.
and I agree with you, and I've had way more citizens than I can probably tell you come to me with just that. We built a $15 million water plant that is a diamond in our crown.
Yeah.
We've got our most used park with a pavilion in it that has tremendous amount of history. And then we've got a small cavern between those two that grows weeds. I just wonder, and you know, what people don't understand, I tell people, you bring me a financial way that I can do that with Manning.
Sure. I will.
There's a lady right here that doesn't have enough Manning to hardly cover the fires we start. And, but everybody says, what a great time to dig that out and make it deeper, you know.
Let's
Well,
bring it back to it.
but EPA will raise their head, I understand. I think that dirt would have to lay out for a certain amount of time.
I will have to find out. I will do more research and
I
bring
just-
it back to
Yeah, I
you.
think just the options being able to,
Sure.
because I think we have an opportunity.
Is that why the duck has 6 legs out there? No.
Three
No, that's a
options.
two-headed, that's a
It
two-headed.
made their feet real wet in that sludgy water. They were just like a chicken when they started swimming.
I digress.
And that third, I have a question, I was out there today, I see some digging going on in that back pond. There's dirt that's definitely been moved and around on the back pond, you know. It's the one that usually has water in it if nothing
I don't
else has
know.
water
I'll
in
have to
it.
go look
And
and
now
see.
it doesn't even have a whole lot of water in it.
Did we move some dirt from when we were doing that drainage deal off
I
Snake?
don't know, because if they move any of that dirt, they've got to let Jim Hankey in on it, because that's all floodplain.
Can he drive the backhoe?
I don't know. I'll check into the.
And the,
I
I
really don't know. I
went to the
don't know.
wellhead today and it is still
I don't
flowing.
know either.
I will, on Mary's behalf, if she doesn't come in, she has asked that the Pollard come and speak at a workshop on December 4th, just to let us know their concerns. So Mary has, Councilmember Coffin has asked to do that. And I'll let her bring up any of her other ideas to this, but in the absence of her, she has requested through me that we allow the Pollard to
Okay.
speak at a meeting.
I want to make sure I caught it.
Do I hear any other future items?
So we're with the delay.
All right. As we enter the holiday season, we do want to plan well, make sure that we have council members that will all be available, instead of setting these dates and then realizing we may lack quorum. So y'all notify us if you think there's a council meeting that you may miss, et cetera, and help us
It
better
was very
plan.
unusual last time that I got shifted out of town a day earlier than I thought I was.
Well, we went ahead and took pictures and just superimposed them off of a
Yeah.
picture we found on the internet.
Photoshop?
Right, so we hope that you like that one from college.
Cardboard figures with the wire on it.
While you're photoshopping, could you give me some dreadlocks?
Right, it's gonna be lovely. We're gonna make it our Christmas card for the city and just send it out. No, I sorry, I digress. All righty, I don't have any other comments for future items.
Does staff have anything that they'd like to
Doing fine.
talk to us about?
This Pollard discussion, is that hotel motel tax discussion again, or are we gonna hit that up?
I have no, that was not the intent of it. I would assume that it comes from that discussion. That might have been the dialogue that spurred the invite of Pollard, but I do not speculate on why, but I am making that assumption.
All right. Just wanna make sure that the agenda item is broad enough so we can actually discuss it properly.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We'll write it with this intent. Call for an adjournment?
I would call for an adjournment,
Just do it.
so.
We are adjourned.